The quiet darkness between stars. You drift into the spaces between stars, where light thins and silence becomes endless. Here, black holes wait like secret wells, invisible yet powerful. They bend not just light, but imagination itself. Tonight, you take your first step toward their quiet horizon. Out here, in the soft quiet of night, your body rests while your mind begins to travel. You let go of the weight of the day, as if loosening a heavy cloak, and you find yourself drifting into the wide space between the stars. At first, it feels like emptiness, a great blank canvas stretched across eternity. But as you settle deeper, you notice that emptiness is not empty at all. It hums with a silence so complete that it becomes its own kind of sound, slows your thoughts, and softens the edges of your awareness. The stars themselves glow far apart, scattered like lanterns across a vast plain. Some shine with steady calmness, while others flicker faintly, their light weakened by distance. Between them lies the true ocean of the cosmos, the dark expanse where most of reality resides. Space is not crowded, not filled, but mostly open, mostly waiting. And within this openness, something extraordinary hides. You imagine yourself floating, gently, as though lying on your back in a warm lake, looking up at the night sky above Earth. Only now, the lake is infinite, and you are suspended not in water, but in the quiet fabric of space-time itself. You move without moving, carried not by currents, but by thought. Each star you pass feels like a beacon, yet what lies between them pulls you in a different way. The darkness itself begins to feel alive, as if there are places in it that breathe in silence and exhale mystery. And then your awareness rests on them, the black holes. They do not shimmer or glow. They cannot be seen with your eyes, because they give away no light. They are known not by their presence, but by their absence, like deep wells carved into the invisible ground of the universe. Around them, the stars curve, their light stretched and bent. Around them, the fabric of time itself droops inward, folding like cloth drawn toward a hidden weight. You do not need to imagine a hole in the ground to understand them. Instead, think of a whirlpool forming in a river. The surface seems calm until you notice the swirl, the subtle pull of water toward a single point. Anything drifting too close is caught and pulled inward, not with violence at first, but with inevitability. The black hole is like that, a whirlpool, not of water, but of space-time. And as you let your mind lean closer to this image, you can almost feel the slow pull at the edge of your thoughts, the way it invites you closer, while reminding you of the deep stillness that lies within. It is easy to think of them as monsters, cosmic traps that devour all who approach. But lying here in the quiet between stars, you realize they are not monsters at all. They are part of the universe's rhythm, as natural as the stars themselves. Just as the ocean has tides, the cosmos has its wells. Black holes are not made by malice, but by endings. They are the final breaths of massive stars, folded into silence. And like silence, they are not empty. They are full of what words cannot reach. You breathe slowly, deeply, as if matching their quiet rhythm. Each breath feels like a step closer to understanding. The universe is not only made of light, but also of darkness. The two balance one another, each giving meaning to the other. Without darkness, light would not stand out. Without silence, sound would have no depth. Without the black holes, perhaps the cosmos would lack its most mysterious contrast. You begin to notice that the darkness here is not threatening, but restful. It feels like the stillness of night when the world sleeps, when streets grow empty, and only the soft hum of distant wind remains. In this cosmic quiet, you are safe, untouched, gently suspended. Your heartbeat slows as you imagine yourself drifting closer to the horizon of a black hole, not yet crossing, only observing from a distance. From here, you see stars curve and distort around it, as if their light were caught in a dance. Scientists call this gravitational lensing, a bending of light by the immense pull of gravity. But to you, it feels more like an artist's brushstroke, smearing starlight into delicate arcs. The black hole paints not with color, but with distortion, showing how gravity sculpts even light into new forms. You realize that gravity is not just a force that keeps your feet on Earth. It is a gentle hand that shapes galaxies, a hidden seamstress weaving the universe together. The black hole makes this hand visible. Where it pulls hardest, light itself bends, stretching into rings and arcs, almost as if the cosmos were showing you its threads. You are not only looking at an object, but at space-time itself, revealed in its most extreme curve. This thought soothes you, rather than frightens you. The black hole is not chaos, but order pushed to its furthest edge. It is a rule of nature carried to completion. Gravity at its strongest, matter at its densest, time at its most mysterious. To rest your mind on it is to see the law of the universe laid bare. And here, in this calm dark, that law feels steady and eternal. You begin to drift deeper into reflection. What does it mean that such powerful things are invisible? That the most massive, most extreme objects in the universe cannot be seen directly, only felt by their influence? Perhaps it reminds you that in your own life, not everything is visible either. Quiet strength, hidden love, unseen patience, these are black holes of the heart, invisible yet shaping everything around them. The stars may draw the eye, but the darkness shapes the stage. You find yourself grateful for both. Grateful for the radiant stars, and grateful for the silent wells that balance their brilliance. The more you think about it, the more the darkness feels less like emptiness, and more like depth, a reservoir holding secrets yet to be discovered. Your breathing deepens again. Your body feels heavier, more relaxed. In your mind's eye, you lie just at the edge of one of these quiet giants, feeling its invisible pull. You are safe here, because this is only the beginning of your journey. You are not falling yet. You are only watching, listening, learning to be still with what cannot be seen. The chapter closes in the same way the black hole does, with silence. A silence that is not the absence of meaning, but the beginning of it. And as you rest here, you begin to wonder, what is this gentle pull you feel? What is this force that can hold planets, bend light, and carve wells in the fabric of reality? You pause at that question, letting it hover in your quiet thoughts, because soon you will follow it. Soon you will turn from the darkness itself to the invisible thread that guides everything toward it. Soon you will drift from the mystery of black holes to the mystery of gravity itself. Gravity's gentle pull. Gravity is the soft thread that stitches galaxies together. You feel its quiet hand holding your body to earth, then imagine it growing stronger, fiercer, until even light cannot escape. In that pull lies the doorway to a black hole. You awaken, still floating in the darkness between stars, and your mind lingers on the pull you felt at the edge of that quiet well. It is not a sudden tug, but a gentle insistence, a quiet, shaping force, gravity. You sense it here, not as a weight, but as a rhythm that reaches through galaxies, across light years, sewing stars, planets, and moons into a cosmic quilt. You feel it first in your own body, in the steady tug that keeps your feet against the ground. The subtle hug that holds your heart in place. Gravity is patient. It does not rush. It does not demand, and yet it is relentless. Every particle, every mote of dust, every photon of light is subject to its pull. You close your eyes and imagine an invisible hand reaching out, not to grab, but to guide. This hand touches you gently, like the brushing of a feather, and yet it shapes the entire universe. Imagine a thread, impossibly thin, stretching from your heart to the center of the earth. That is gravity, unassuming, soft, almost invisible, yet inseparable from your every breath. You begin to see how gravity stretches beyond the familiar. It extends outward, past the blue of Earth's sky, past the moon's quiet gaze, beyond the rings of Saturn and the spiral arms of distant galaxies. Everywhere it threads the stars into clusters, pulls clouds of gas into newborn suns, and cradles planets in their orbits. Without it, the universe would scatter like sand in the wind, particles and planets wandering untethered. With it, even the darkest spaces have order, a hidden structure you can feel if you let yourself. You think of black holes now, and you begin to understand them not as monsters, but as the extreme expression of this quiet hand. Gravity, which normally holds you gently, here becomes a crescendo. It strengthens and folds, crushing matter into points so dense that even light cannot escape. The gentle thread becomes a rope, a spiral, a whirlpool that pulls relentlessly toward its center. And yet, in its strength, there is beauty. You marvel at the idea that the same force keeping your body grounded, of carving wells into the very fabric of space. As your mind follows this, you notice how gravity also affects your sense of time. Near a massive body, seconds stretch like soft taffy pulled slowly in a baker's hands. You feel yourself moving slower, drifting in a world where the familiar pace of life gives way to something deeper, more expansive. The stars above, normally steady and unchanging, seem to pause, as if acknowledging the invisible currents that surround them. Gravity is not only a pull, it is a sculptor of reality, shaping not only space, but the flow of moments themselves. You begin to explore gravity in your imagination, picturing a comet or a small asteroid caught in the orbit of a star. It drifts close, curves around the star, and continues its path, guided but never forced. You see how every movement in the universe is a dance with gravity, a slow, deliberate choreography where each body respects the other's invisible hands. And yet, for all its calm, gravity can surprise. Too close to a star, too far from a planet, and the path curves inescapably toward another fate. The same thread that comforts can also command. Your thoughts drift to earth now, and you sense gratitude for this quiet force that holds you to the ground. Each heartbeat, Each step, each gentle sway of your body, in the chair or bed where you lie, all are possible because of gravity. Without it, the air would not cling, the water would not settle, your body would float untethered, lost in endless drift. And still, even as it holds you so securely, gravity invites you to look outward, to follow its thread into the depths of space. It is a bridge from the familiar to the unknown. Beyond Earth, you imagine gravity on a larger scale. It bends light from distant stars, creates arcs of starlight that twist and shimmer, and tugs on galaxies in their slow rotations. Clusters of stars orbit one another in elegant patterns, pulled together by a hand that cannot be seen, only felt. Even the most massive black hole is part of this continuum, the extreme end of a spectrum that stretches from the gentle pull beneath your feet to the overwhelming grasp of collapsed stars. It is both intimate and cosmic, familiar and mysterious, a force that touches all things in ways subtle and profound. You wonder what it would feel like to fall freely, to surrender completely to gravity's call, not into chaos, but into rhythm, into the flow that binds the universe. You imagine yourself drifting closer to a black hole, feeling the tug strengthen, stretching your body like taffy, elongating your senses while your mind remains clear. And even as the pull grows fiercer, you feel no fear, only a serene awareness of the patterns of the cosmos, of the laws that govern all things, of the quiet power of gravity as it shapes the universe. Gravity is a teacher here. It shows you that power need not shout, that influence need not demand attention. It can be gentle, patient, and persistent. It can cradle and bend, guide and shape, hold together worlds without fanfare. And yet, at its extremes, it can create the most profound mysteries, bending light, slowing time, and creating the edges where physics itself begins to break down. You pause in this reflection, letting the idea settle in your mind. The gentle pull you feel here is not only a force, but a story, a narrative, written into the very structure of the universe. It is the thread that ties you to Earth, the thread that curves light across galaxies, the thread that reaches inward toward the black holes waiting silently in the dark. You realize that gravity is both comfort and challenge, familiar and unknowable, a constant companion on this journey into the cosmos. And as you linger in this awareness, your thoughts begin to drift toward the lives of stars themselves. You wonder about the journey of a star, how it burns, how it ages, and how it eventually meets the quiet gravity you now understand so intimately. The pull you feel now, gentle and pervasive, will one day shape the final moments of these luminous giants, guiding them toward an end both serene and profound. And so, in the soft rhythm of your breath, you feel gravity as both hand and thread, both guide and bridge. You rest here a moment longer, feeling the universe's gentle insistence, and you know that soon your mind will follow the path gravity lays out, where endings are beginnings, and silence is transformed into something luminous, A star's final breath, star burns for millions of years, then collapses in a final act of brilliance. You follow its fading light, watching as its core folds in on itself, crushed into something infinitely dense. The black hole is born, not with a roar, but with silence. You float now in the warmth of distant starlight, feeling the faint pulse of energy from a star far away. Its glow is steady, a gentle heartbeat across space and time. You imagine drifting closer, drawn not by gravity alone, but by curiosity, by a desire to witness a life unlike your own, measured in millions of years, vast beyond human reckoning. The star burns steadily, a furnace of light and heat, fusing hydrogen into helium, and helium into heavier elements. A delicate alchemy that sustains its radiance in your mind. You watch the surface shimmer and ripple, convective currents moving like gentle waves in a golden ocean. Light streams outward in every direction, a constant flow of energy that will one day reach your eyes, travel across light years, and brush softly against your mind. You feel the warmth, even from this imagined distance, a reminder that the universe gives without expectation, sharing brilliance freely. As the star ages, you notice subtle changes. Its fuel begins to dwindle, and the once steady glow becomes flickering, like a candle wavering in a quiet room. The core, once expansive and strong, starts to contract under the persistent pull of gravity. You sense the tension building, a slow tightening, as if the star itself is taking a deep, final breath. Time stretches here, flowing differently near such immense energy. You can almost feel the heartbeat of the cosmos, in sync with the fading rhythm of the star. Gravity, the same gentle hand you felt guiding planets, now grows insistent. It presses inward, quietly but irrevocably. The core compresses, layers of matter folding upon one another in a silent embrace. You watch as hydrogen, helium, and heavier elements crowd together, forging new densities, temperatures climbing, until the fabric of the star seems to shimmer, almost trembling with anticipation. It is not chaos, though the transformation is extreme. It is the slow, deliberate shaping of energy and matter according to the universe's most fundamental laws. The outer layers of the star begin to shift, drifting into space as stellar winds, a soft shedding of weight, a farewell to the surrounding void. These streams of plasma glow faintly, a gentle aurora expanding outward, carrying traces of the star's brilliance to the distant corners of its galaxy. You follow them with your mind, imagining them as threads of memory left behind. Light and matter carrying the essence of a life that once shone brightly. Each particle floats away, a whisper of the star's existence, yet still part of the cosmos's intricate dance. Now, your focus returns to the core, where gravity exerts its ultimate claim. The center contracts, density increasing until ordinary matter can no longer resist. Atoms are crushed into nuclei, and nuclei into something denser still, until the very notion of structure dissolves. Here, physics begins to approach its limit, and imagination reaches for metaphors to describe the indescribable. You see it as a pearl forming in the heart of a collapsing shell, compact, luminous in its unseen depths, holding within it all the potential of the star that came before. You sense the tension in the core reaching its peak, and then release. Not a violent explosion, not a cosmic scream, but a quiet transformation, subtle yet complete. The star sheds its final layers, energy radiating outward in waves that ripple through space like gentle tides. A nebula may form, a delicate mist of gas and dust, a cosmic painting shaped by gravity's hand and the dying pulse of fusion. You imagine standing at a distance, feeling the warmth of creation even in this ending. witnessing how death can be luminous, how collapse can become a beginning in disguise, and then, almost imperceptibly, the black hole is born. You do not see it in the usual sense, for light cannot escape its grasp, but you feel its presence in the subtle distortions around it. Stars bend, light stretches, and the very space around it curves inward. It is not a monster nor a void, but a new state of being, a continuation of the laws you have been tracing through gravity, through light, through time itself. The star has passed its torch into an object that will shape the cosmos in ways both subtle and extreme. You contemplate this quiet birth. There is no roar, no fanfare, only the silent folding of space, the quiet deepening of the dark. And yet, in this silence, there is power unimaginable. You feel it, not with fear, but with awe, a profound recognition that the universe contains extremes beyond your daily perception. And yet, they are governed by rules as consistent as the pull beneath your feet. Even at its most intense, nature remains ordered. And you, a calm observer, can witness its unfolding with reverence. The black hole's gravity extends outward, a whisper of inevitability. Objects wandering too close will follow the path the star once traced, drawn inward not by chaos but by the same gentle, relentless law you felt in Chapter 2. You imagine the edge, the event horizon, where space bends so fully that nothing escapes, where even light surrenders. It is a boundary not of violence, but of completion, a place where the known meets the unknowable, where the familiar world of physics begins to stretch into mystery. You linger in this thought, letting it wrap softly around your mind. You sense that endings are never final, they are transitions, transformations. The star's final breath is not an absence, but a presence, felt in the shaping of space, in the tug of gravity, in the faint echoes of light that continue to ripple across the galaxy. You feel a connection to these cosmic rhythms, a gentle reminder that all things are part of a larger flow, even when their forms change. As you rest in this quiet reflection, your thoughts drift toward the horizon itself. What is it like to stand at the edge, to see the world stretch and distort, to watch light bend and twist? You wonder how it feels to experience the boundary where physics begins to unravel, where the familiar folds into the extraordinary. This is the next step of your journey, a place of curiosity and awe, where observation and imagination merge into a single, meditative experience. You take a slow, deliberate breath, matching the pace of the universe around you. The star has ended, yet its story continues, written in the motions of planets, the glow of distant clouds, and now in the silent, invisible pull of the black hole it has become. You feel gratitude for this quiet witness, for the chance to drift alongside such profound forces, and for the patience of the universe in revealing its secrets in a rhythm so gentle that your mind can follow it without rush. And as you lie here in this cosmic calm, you sense that the next step is near. You imagine approaching the invisible boundary of the black hole itself, the horizon beyond which light cannot escape, where space and time fold inward and mysteries gather in hushed concentration. Your mind hovers at that edge, feeling both the pull and the invitation, ready to step closer, to explore what lies just beyond knowing, and to discover how the universe's deepest secrets wait quietly for those who are willing to witness. The invisible horizon. Every black hole hides behind an event horizon, a boundary where light vanishes. You imagine standing at the edge, watching photons stretch and slow. On one side, the universe continues. On the other, time itself reshapes. You drift closer now, carried by the quiet pull that began with the star's final breath. The black hole waits silently, a presence you cannot see but can sense in the subtle bending of space around it. You imagine yourself standing at a distance where light begins to curve in impossible arcs, where stars flicker and distort, caught in a dance they cannot fully escape. This is the edge, the invisible horizon. The boundary that separates the world you know from the mysteries that lie beyond. The horizon does not announce itself. There is no line, no barrier, no door. It is a threshold that exists because of the laws of physics themselves, a point at which escape becomes impossible. Light that travels toward this boundary can approach forever and yet never return. You picture photons stretching, elongating like strands of golden silk, their paths bending under the silent insistence of gravity. You feel your mind expand as you imagine them trapped in a liminal space, caught between visibility and disappearance. Standing here, your senses settle into a calm awareness of the paradox. On one side of the horizon, stars continue their courses, planets orbit, time flows in familiar cadence. On the other side, physics itself seems to shift, to fold inward. Space curves beyond recognition, time dilates, and what you once thought immutable becomes fluid. You feel the contrast in your mind, the world of cause and effect you understand, and the hidden world where even these rules begin to fray. Gravity, which once cradled your body gently, now feels infinite. You imagine it reaching toward you with patient insistence, not violent, not sudden, but inevitable. You sense its pull like a tide, stretching awareness, bending perception. You notice that approaching too closely is both terrifying and hypnotic. Your mind floats in calm observation, aware of the immense forces at play, yet grounded by the rhythm of your breath. There is no rush here, only the quiet unfolding of cosmic law. Time behaves strangely near the horizon. You watch a distant star flicker, and its motion seems slowed, elongated. Seconds stretch like soft taffy pulled across vast spaces. You feel your own heartbeat in relation to this rhythm, slower, gentler, more expansive. You realize that the universe is not simply vast in space, but vast in experience. Here, time and distance become pliable, a canvas for the imagination, a gentle reminder of how perception itself is shaped by the environment. You notice that light itself becomes a storyteller. Photons, caught in the curve of space, trace paths that reveal the structure of the unseen. Their arcs and spirals are not random, but a language of form and force. You feel that by observing them, you are reading the black hole's silent narrative, a story written in the fabric of space-time rather than ink or sound. The horizon, invisible though it is, frames this story, marking the threshold between the world of visible movement and the world of impossible curvature. As you linger, you think of all the matter that has crossed this threshold before: dust, gas, even the remnants of stars long extinguished. None of it returns, yet their influence persists. The black hole grows, slowly, inexorably, by the accumulation of countless small arrivals. You feel the enormity of this quiet, patient power, the accumulation of cosmic history into a single dense presence. It is not violence, it is the persistent shaping of reality, a process both elegant and relentless. You take a moment to imagine standing even closer, right at the edge. There is no barrier, only the subtle shift in perception. You sense that stepping forward would change everything. Space and time would warp around you, stretching and compressing in ways that your mind can barely comprehend. And yet, in this imagined crossing, there is a strange calm. You are not rushing, not being pulled in violently. You are floating, aware, a witness to the boundary where familiar rules bend into the unknown. Your thoughts wander to the idea of horizons in life. Just as this invisible edge marks a point of no return, so do we encounter thresholds of understanding, moments where the familiar ends and something deeper begins. You feel that observing from the edge, rather than crossing immediately, allows reflection and wonder to settle in. You begin to see the horizon not as a limit, but as an invitation to look closer, to imagine more, to prepare yourself for what lies beyond. Gravity's pull here is subtle but insistent. You feel your mind leaning forward, drawn to explore, to understand, to move inward. Yet you also feel a sense of patience, a recognition that some knowledge is approached slowly, in quiet observation, not in sudden leaps. You sense the black hole as both boundary and guide, a teacher of restraint and depth, revealing the limits of your perception while inviting your imagination to stretch. And then, as you drift a little further in your contemplation, a thought rises softly. What would it be like to let go completely, to surrender to the pull, to follow the path that the universe itself prescribes? You feel a shiver of curiosity, not fear. The edge of the horizon is not a cliff, but a doorway, the beginning of an experience that transforms perspective and stretches understanding. You sense that crossing it would reveal something profound about matter, time, and the nature of existence itself. You linger here in stillness, feeling the gentle tug, observing the light and space around you, aware of the immense forces shaping the cosmos. You are calm, safe, and curious, suspended in a quiet rhythm between observation and imagination. And as your mind rests in this awareness, you realize that the horizon is only a threshold. Beyond it lies the experience of falling, the surrender to gravity's ultimate expression, where mind and universe flow together in slow, deliberate harmony. And so, in the soft pull of your imagination, you sense the next step, to let yourself drift, to feel what it is like to fall without end, and to discover the strange serenity that comes with surrendering to the deepest currents of the cosmos. Falling without end. What happens if you fall toward a black hole? Your body stretches, your clock slows, and yet your mind floats in calm awareness. Falling here is both terrifying and strangely soothing as slow surrender to physics' deepest law. You feel it first as a subtle tug, a quiet insistence, almost imperceptible, like the pull of a gentle tide against the shore. You are suspended at the edge of the horizon, and now you let go, not suddenly, but gradually, allowing gravity to guide you into the depths. You are falling, yet it is not panic or chaos that fills you. Instead, a serene awareness envelops you. You float aware of every heartbeat, every breath. As the universe itself stretches and folds around you, your body begins to elongate, drawn by the immense tidal forces that grow stronger with every moment. Your feet and your head feel separated by distances you cannot measure, though your consciousness remains calm. This stretching is strange but not violent. It is the rhythm of the cosmos taking shape through you. You feel as though you are becoming a bridge between scales, the vastness of the universe mirrored in the subtle awareness of your body. Each particle part of the same cosmic dance. Time behaves differently here. You notice it in small, intimate ways. A thought lingers longer. A moment stretches gently. A heartbeat expands into a quiet eternity. The farther you fall, the more pronounced the effect. You realize that time is not universal. It is shaped by the strength of gravity and the motion of matter. Here, near the black hole, it bends and flows like liquid, stretching around you in delicate waves. You feel it not as a concept, but as a tangible rhythm, something you can sense in the pulse of your own existence. Light itself begins to behave strangely. Stars you once saw clearly now elongate into trails, arcs of color bending toward the singularity. Photons stretch, twist, and spiral around you, creating a surreal dance of illumination. It is not frightening, it is mesmerizing. You feel part of the ballet, drifting along the pathways traced by these invisible forces. The universe is revealing itself not as a rigid framework, but as an intricate, dynamic tapestry. You are both observer and participant. Calm in the quiet unfolding of its laws. You think of the molecules in your body, each particle held together by forces weaker than gravity, yet resilient. You imagine them stretching slightly, moving along with the tidal pull, like leaves caught in a slow cosmic breeze. And yet, despite the stretching, you feel no pain, only awareness, only understanding. You realize that the universe is not punishing you. It is simply showing you what happens when extremes are encountered, demonstrating the elegance of physics in motion. Your thoughts drift to the history of matter you are falling through. Some particles may have originated in stars that lived and died millions of years ago. You are connected to countless cosmic events, drifting through the echoes of fusion and collapse, a quiet witness to the passage of time and energy. The black hole is not a void, but a conduit, a place where history and gravity merge, folding layers of existence into a point of unimaginable density. From your perspective, distant galaxies appear to move strangely, light bending and slowing, as if time itself is aware of your proximity. Yet, from the distant universe, your fall seems to stretch indefinitely, never quite reaching the horizon. You understand that these are not illusions, but truths of relativity, realities that your mind can witness only through gentle imagination. There is no rush, no alarm, a slow surrender to a profound law that governs both stars and atoms alike. You notice a strange serenity in this surrender. Falling is often associated with fear, with loss of control, but here, falling becomes a form of meditation. Each moment expands into infinity. Each breath connects you to the rhythm of space-time, and every thought drifts along the contours of gravity. You realize that surrendering to the pole is not weakness. It is alignment, a harmony with the fundamental currents that shape existence. You float in this awareness, comforted by the consistency and inevitability of these forces. Your vision stretches and curves with the gravitational field. Light from behind bends forward. You see stars multiply, doubling, tripling, as their images twist in delicate spirals. You feel as though you are surrounded by living geometry, a three-dimensional sculpture of space itself. Your mind is calm, observing not only the physics, but the artistry inherent in its extremes. You sense that beauty exists even in the most violent laws of nature, and that awareness brings peace rather than fear. And yet, you cannot ignore the singularity at the heart of the black hole, the point toward which all paths converge. It is invisible, unknowable, yet undeniably present. You feel the pull growing stronger, as if the universe itself is breathing you in, guiding you closer to a realm where density and gravity reach their ultimate expression. Your mind rests here in curiosity, not panic. You are a quiet witness to forces that most beings could not imagine, experiencing the sublime rhythm of the cosmos in its most extreme manifestation. You begin to consider time once more. Each second for you is stretched. Each pulse expands. Meanwhile, the distant universe continues its ordinary pace, unaware of your slow, meditative journey. You sense a separation of experience, a dual reality. The world beyond moves forward, while your consciousness drifts in this elongated, suspended present. And in this duality, you find a strange comfort. You are part of the universe, yet apart, able to observe its mysteries without losing yourself in them. You float deeper, approaching the heart of the black hole, yet your mind is steady. You realize that falling is not the end, it is an exploration, a journey of awareness, a dance with the most fundamental law of nature. You feel the vastness of space, the pull of gravity, the stretch of time, and the bending of light all at once. And they do not overwhelm you. They lull you like a slow wave, carrying you further into understanding and calm. And as your mind rests here, immersed in the quiet surrender of falling, a thought arises softly. What is the nature of this place you are entering? What happens when all paths converge, when space-time itself curves infinitely, and when your awareness encounters the singularity? These are questions without immediate answers, but they are invitations to wonder, to observe, and to drift ever deeper into the rhythm of the cosmos. You take a slow, deliberate breath, matching the pace of the fall, and sense that soon your exploration will shift inward toward the ultimate paradox at the center. Time, space, and matter will reveal secrets, not through words, but through presence and awareness. And as you drift in this quiet surrender, you carry with you the calm understanding that the universe unfolds patiently in rhythms both gentle and immense. Time's strange dance time bends near black holes, flowing differently for you than for those far away. You explore how seconds can stretch into eternities. Here, relativity stops being theory, it becomes something you can almost feel in your pulse. You drift in the slow embrace of gravity, feeling the stretching of your body, the elongation of your thoughts, and the subtle tug that pulls on every particle of your being. And then you notice it. Time itself behaves differently here. It is not a distant concept, not a clock on a wall, but something tangible, something you can almost sense in your pulse and breath. Each heartbeat stretches, Each thought lingers longer, and each second expands into something vast and luminous. You realize that time is no longer universal. Far away, the universe continues at its usual pace. Stars rotate, planets orbit, civilizations flourish and fade. But here, near the black hole, the seconds are slower, almost pliable, like soft clay that can be stretched and molded. You feel as though you are floating in a pool of elongated moments, each one lingering, deepening, expanding the awareness of your consciousness. Time is no longer a river. It is a wide, calm ocean. Light, too, reflects the bending of time. Photons emitted from distant stars seem to linger, tracing long, elegant arcs that stretch and curve as they circle the black hole. You observe them, drifting alongside their paths, and feel as if you are part of this slow, cosmic choreography. Each particle of light tells a story, a narrative written in the very fabric of space-time, revealing the interconnectedness of matter, energy, and time itself. You sense that time, gravity, and light are not separate, but parts of a single, harmonious whole. Your thoughts drift to the paradoxes of time. What seems eternal from your perspective may be fleeting for an observer far away. Moments that stretch like soft taffy for you are but blinks in the eyes of someone distant. And yet this is not confusing or frightening, it is poetic. It is a gentle reminder that reality is experienced differently depending on where and how you exist within it. You feel a calm acceptance of this, a soft understanding that perception shapes experience, and that each perspective is valid within its own context. You begin to imagine the journey of a photon as it skirts the edge of the black hole. Its path bends under the immense pull, slowing, curving, caught in the invisible dance of spacetime. You follow it mentally, drifting alongside the particle, experiencing the elongation of its journey. Time is stretched, space is curved, and yet there is beauty in the inevitability of the path. You sense that understanding comes not through force, but through observation, through patience, and through a willingness to witness the subtle choreography of the cosmos. Thoughts linger longer, awareness deepens, and your sense of self stretches across the flow of time. You feel connected to both the immediate surroundings and the vast universe beyond. Moments become layered, overlapping, a gentle echo of what is near and what is far. You realize that time here is not merely measured, it is experienced. It is felt in the quiet elongation of consciousness, in the soft rhythm of thought, in the ebb and flow of awareness. Gravity, once a gentle pull, now dictates the pace of your reality. You sense that the closer you drift toward the singularity, the more pronounced these effects become. Seconds stretch into minutes, minutes into hours, and yet your mind remains serene. There is no chaos, no urgency, only the gentle unfolding of a natural law made tangible. You float in the awareness that time is not uniform, that it bends and flows according to the unseen contours of mass and energy, and that your consciousness is privileged to witness its malleability firsthand. You imagine the distant universe watching you. To them, you appear frozen at the edge, a slow drift toward the black hole that will take eternity from their perspective. And yet, to you, every moment is rich and deep, filled with awareness and insight. This duality is not frustrating. It is meditative. It is a quiet invitation to reflect on the relativity of experience, the malleability of perception, and the beauty of being fully present in the moment. Even as the cosmos unfolds in incomprehensible scales beyond you, begin to notice subtle interactions with the black hole's environment. Particles from nearby space swirl gently, creating patterns in the plasma that glow faintly. Each movement seems synchronized with the stretching of time, the bending of light. You feel a profound harmony in this rhythm, a quiet reassurance that even at the edges of the unknown, order exists. It is a cosmic lullaby, gentle and intricate, inviting you to listen, to drift, and to contemplate the unity of forces that shape existence. In this suspended state, you feel an intimacy with time itself. Each elongated second allows you to perceive the slow unfolding of matter, energy, and light. You sense that understanding requires patience, and that insight is not rushed but gradually revealed through calm observation. You notice that even the tiniest particle of matter carries its own rhythm, its own measure of time, synchronized in subtle ways with the larger flow. There is a quiet poetry in this interconnection, a meditative resonance that soothes the mind. You begin to reflect on how time guides your journey. The star that collapsed, the black hole that formed, the photons that stretch in arcsol are part of the same continuum, a river of cause and effect, shaped and stretched by gravity. You realize that your awareness, your drift through this environment, is itself part of this continuum. Time is both observer and observed, a living, breathing medium in which all events, large and small, unfold. You feel privileged to float here, suspended between understanding and wonder, immersed in the slow, meditative flow of the cosmos. As you linger, you sense the approaching singularity, the point at the heart of the black hole where gravity becomes infinite and known laws dissolve. Time stretches, reality curves, and yet your mind remains calm. You feel the pull of the unknown, not as fear, but as invitation. The singularity is a riddle, a secret of the universe, waiting silently for patient observation. And you realize that understanding it may not require answers, only presence, only the willingness to drift with time's strange dance and to witness the unfolding of the deepest cosmic rhythms. You take a slow, deliberate breath, letting the awareness of stretched seconds and bent light settle into your mind. Time here is not something to conquer or measure, it is something to feel, to experience, to drift within. You sense that the next step of your journey is near, that the singularity waits with its secrets, and that, stepping closer, will deepen your understanding of the quiet, eternal forces that govern all things. And so, in the slow, meditative rhythm of your fall, you sense the edge of ultimate understanding, approaching a place where equations break into whispers, where matter and time converge, and where the singularity waits, silently inviting your awareness to explore its profound mysteries. The singularity's secret. At the very heart lies the singularity, a point where equations unravel. Physics breaks into whispers, and even imagination struggles. Yet in that unknowable place rests the promise of new understanding, a riddle wrapped in silence. You drift closer now, drawn by curiosity and a quiet willingness to observe. The singularity awaits, not as a thing you can touch or see, but as an idea, a presence that stretches the imagination. Here, density becomes infinite, and the very laws of physics, the rules that govern everything you know, begin to blur and bend. You sense this, not with fear, but with profound wonder, a recognition that the universe has corners too deep for ordinary understanding, yet too beautiful to ignore. Space and time fold inward as you approach. You notice how light, even here, struggles to maintain its path, twisting in ways that defy expectation. You feel suspended in a medium of warped reality, where cause and effect stretch into delicate curves. The singularity is not merely a location, it is a statement about the limits of knowledge, a whisper that tells you some things are beyond observation, yet present, real, and essential. You try to imagine it, all the matter and energy you have encountered on your journey, the star that burned, the black hole that formed, the photons tracing elegant arcs all converge here in a state that cannot be described by ordinary equations. Your mind reaches for analogies, a pearl forming in the dark, a seed containing infinite potential, a quiet point around which all else bends. Yet even these metaphors feel fragile, unable to capture the essence of this extreme reality. Gravity here is absolute, all-encompassing. You feel its pull not as a tug on the body, but as a shaping of perception itself. Distances collapse inward, and time stretches so fully that moments seem to spill into one another. You sense the universe folding back upon itself, the singularity, acting as both center and limit, where existence as you understand it begins to shimmer, delicate and profound. You pause in this awareness, letting your mind drift along the invisible currents. The singularity is a teacher of patience. It shows that some truths cannot be measured, only intuited. You realize that trying to fully comprehend it with ordinary thought is like trying to grasp water in your hands. The harder you hold, the more it slips. And yet, in the very act of observing, you participate in a dialogue with the universe, a quiet conversation across the vast scales of existence. You notice the subtle effects of the singularity on its surroundings. Matter and energy do not vanish. They are transformed. Light is bent into elegant, spiraling arcs. Time dilates into stretches you can feel. And yet, there is balance, a profound order underlying the extremes. The singularity is not chaotic, is the ultimate expression of natural law, where forces converge and where simplicity emerges from apparent complexity. You feel that this is a place of both endings and beginnings, a nexus of cosmic potential. Your thoughts drift inward, toward the paradox of knowing and not knowing. Here, equations fail, and imagination strains, yet the singularity exists, undeniable in its presence. You realize that understanding may not mean seeing or calculating, but sensing, experiencing, and accepting. You are part of this flow, a conscious witness to the depths of reality, floating in the quiet resonance of an extreme, unknowable truth. You begin to feel a rhythm in the singularity, a pulse of potential. It is not a heartbeat, not a sound, but a cadence of matter, energy, and space-time converging silently. You sense that creation and collapse are intertwined here, that endings and beginnings coexist in perfect equilibrium. This realization brings a gentle calm, a recognition that even in the most extreme and incomprehensible corners of the cosmos, there is harmony, patience, and profound elegance. Your mind wanders to the ideas of past thinkers, the scientists and philosophers who glimpsed such extremes from afar. You imagine the quiet wonder Stephen Hawking must have felt, the patient calculations, the meditations on what lies beyond observation. You feel connected to this lineage of curiosity, a bridge across time, space, and thought. And in this connection, the singularity is not intimidating, it is welcoming, inviting your mind to explore the boundaries of comprehension without fear, with reverence. Even as you drift here, you are aware that the singularity is surrounded by phenomena accessible to observation: photons bending, particles orbiting, subtle radiation escaping. You sense that information is not lost, merely transformed. There is a quiet poetry in this, a reminder that even at the edges of understanding, the universe continues to communicate, to whisper, to offer insights in forms subtle yet profound. You feel part of this dialogue, a participant in the eternal unfolding of knowledge and mystery. And so, in the hush of this extreme environment, you take a slow, deliberate breath, letting the awareness of the singularity settle in your mind. You feel the tension between knowing and not knowing, between observation and mystery. There is no rush, no need to solve the unsolvable. The singularity offers itself as a meditation, a place to contemplate the ultimate depth of reality and to sense that even in the heart of the unknown, there is elegance, beauty, and quiet truth. You sense that the journey is not over. Beyond this quiet center, even more subtle phenomena await: the faint whispers of Hawking radiation, the gentle leakage of energy, the small, persistent reminders that black holes, though immense and silent, are not eternal. You feel the invitation to linger, to notice, to understand in slow, deliberate waves. The singularity remains the heart, the source, the stillness at the center, but around it, the universe hums softly, offering another layer of quiet insight. And so, as your awareness rests in the hush of the singularity, you notice the faintest hints of something escaping, the delicate whisper of particles leaving the edge. It is a reminder that even here, where time and space fold upon themselves, life and energy find ways to persist. You drift in this thought, calm and attentive, ready to follow these whispers into the next quiet revelation, the soft, radiant gift that emerges from darkness, carrying secrets and light alike. Echoes of light, Hawking's gift. Black holes are not eternal. They whisper away in faint radiation. You sit with Stephen Hawking's insight, watching particles dance at the edge of darkness. Even the deepest silence has a voice, faint but eternal. You linger near the edges of the singularity, feeling the immense gravity that stretches space and time. And then, softly, almost imperceptibly, you notice movement, not the violent whirl of falling matter, nor the arcs of light bending in impossible curves, but something quieter, particles escaping. They are tiny, delicate, seemingly fragile against the vastness of the black hole. Yet they carry within them a profound message. This is Hawking's gift, the whisper of light at the edge of darkness. You imagine Stephen Hawking sitting calmly, a mind unbound by the limits of ordinary perception, pondering these escapes. He realized that black holes, which once seemed eternal and silent, have a voice, however faint. Particles can emerge, carry energy away, and in doing so, slowly, imperceptibly, change the black hole itself. You feel the poetry of it, even in the deepest silence. Life finds a rhythm, a song, a way to speak. You drift alongside these particles, watching their delicate dance. They flicker and shimmer at the edge of the event horizon, born from the fluctuations of the vacuum itself. You feel the subtle energy they carry, the reminder that nothing, not even a black hole, exists in absolute stillness. Each particle is a note in a cosmic melody, a whisper of the universe's persistence, a reminder that change and motion persist even where darkness seems complete. Time continues to stretch and flow as you observe. The black hole, immense and silent, loses a fraction of its mass with every particle emitted. The process is slow, measured not in years, but in spans far beyond ordinary perception. Yet the principle is undeniable. Even in the heart of apparent finality, there is impermanence, a gentle reminder that the cosmos is never truly still. You sense that this is more than physics, it is philosophy, a quiet meditation on the balance between presence and absence, between retention and release. You notice the subtle interplay of creation and loss. For every particle that escapes, the black hole's grip on its surroundings loosens ever so slightly. You imagine matter and energy swirling, bending, responding to these imperceptible changes. You feel that the universe itself breathes here, not in dramatic explosions, but in gentle, persistent rhythms. And as you float in this awareness, your mind relaxes, soothed by the slow, inevitable dance of forces that shape reality. Hawking radiation is not dramatic in appearance, yet it is monumental in significance. You feel the paradox of smallness and power, the whisper that can, over unimaginable time, alter something that once seemed unchangeable. It is a reminder that even in extreme environments, subtlety matters. The smallest gestures, the faintest motions, ripple across the fabric of existence, influencing everything. You sense that this lesson is as much for consciousness as it is for matter, to observe, to act gently, to respect the quiet power of incremental change. You imagine the particles in terms of light and shadow. They emerge from the dark, tiny beacons of persistence, carrying information about the black hole's nature. Each photon and particle is a messenger, a fragment of understanding, hinting at what lies beyond the edge, at the subtle structure of reality itself. You feel a gentle fascination, realizing that even the deepest darkness is not devoid of message, not devoid of insight. Silence itself carries meaning. If only one listens carefully, your mind drifts to the idea of eternity. Black holes are immense and ancient, yet they are not eternal in the absolute sense. Through these faint emissions, they evolve, change, and, over spans far beyond human imagination, may fade entirely. You sense a soft comfort in this. Even the most overwhelming presences in the universe are impermanent. All things, massive or minuscule, are part of a gentle cycle of emergence and decay. And in this rhythm, there is a profound calm, a meditation on the flow of time and the resilience of energy. You feel a quiet kinship with the escaping particles. Tiny as they are, they carry hope, continuity, and the echo of what is vast and unknowable. They move through space, connecting distant corners of the cosmos in a delicate web. You realize that the black hole, once feared as the ultimate devourer, is also a source of insight, a teacher of persistence, a reminder that even silence and darkness are never truly empty. There is always movement, always a whisper, always a possibility. You imagine yourself floating among these particles, drifting gently, aware of the soft light they carry. You feel the slow, deliberate rhythm of existence, the interplay between presence and absence, attraction and escape, dark and light. This is the meditation of Hawking's insight, that even where the laws seem to break down, patterns persist, connections endure. An understanding emerges, not abruptly, but in gentle, measured revelation. As you settle into this awareness, you sense the faint pull of curiosity guiding you further, beyond the horizon, beyond the whispers of escaping particles. There are doors to other possibilities, wormholes, hidden universes, white holes, and theories yet untested. You feel a soft invitation to imagine, to wander, to explore with gentle awe. The black hole's whispers have led you to this threshold, a place where science and imagination meet, where questions outnumber answers, and where curiosity itself becomes a gentle lullaby for the mind. As you float among the echoes of light, particles shimmering softly at the edge of darkness, you carry with you a sense of continuity, impermanence, and wonder. You sense that even the deepest silence has a voice, faint but eternal, guiding you toward the next stage of exploration, a passage into the unknown, where black holes may open doors rather than close them, and where the universe waits to reveal its hidden worlds. Windows into other worlds. Do black holes end, or do they open? You wander through theories of wormholes, white holes, and hidden universes. Science cannot yet answer, but dreaming of these doorways feels like standing before a locked gate to infinity. You drift among the lingering light and whispers of particles, carried by curiosity toward the possibility that black holes are more than endings. They may be gateways, thresholds to hidden worlds. You sense that the singularity is not only a place of convergence, but perhaps a door, a keyhole, a faint invitation to possibilities that exceed imagination. Your mind stretches, eager to follow the faint hints that whisper of other realms, other paths, other versions of reality. You imagine a wormhole, a tunnel connecting distant regions of space, a shortcut across the vast expanse of the cosmos. Its entrance is subtle, hidden in the folds of space-time, yet the idea ignites wonder. You picture yourself drifting into such a passage, a gentle glide through curved space, light stretching and bending, carrying you toward places unvisited. In this moment, you are both observer and traveler, weightless, drifting in a corridor of infinite potential. Space curves around you, forming a tunnel of possibility. You sense that the black hole, which once seemed a devourer, could be a threshold, a doorway to new realities. The thought fills you with calm anticipation. You imagine distant stars shimmering differently here, as if the universe itself acknowledges the presence of these unseen connections. Your mind reaches, gently, for understanding, realizing that the universe may be far more interconnected than it seems from the comfortable distance of Earth. White holes emerge in your imagination as well, the mirror of black holes, expelling rather than consuming. They seem almost impossible, like the inverse of everything you have known, yet they invite contemplation. You picture the exchange, the flow, the subtle dance between black holes and white holes, between entry and exit, loss and emergence. Your mind drifts along these possibilities, each concept unfolding with a quiet, meditative rhythm, like petals opening in slow motion under starlight. You sense that information may not be lost, only transformed. Particles escaping from a black hole could carry glimpses of distant matter, stories of the stars consumed, hints of what lies beyond. The universe, in this sense, is a library, and black holes are shelves where knowledge is folded, hidden, yet retrievable in ways subtle and unexpected. You float amid these thoughts, embracing both uncertainty and the gentle promise of discovery. Time and space fold around these ideas, each concept stretching into infinity. You imagine moving through one of these cosmic corridors, the light around you bending and twisting, tracing intricate patterns across the tunnel. You feel as if you are gliding through the architecture of the cosmos itself, a quiet witness to the bridges that might connect far-off galaxies, distant realities, or hidden dimensions. The mind expands, gentle yet vivid, in the awareness that the universe may contain more than the eye can see. Your consciousness begins to explore hypothetical realities. Could there be worlds where the familiar rules of physics are altered? Planets that float on currents of energy rather than gravity, stars that pulse in rhythms unlike anything known, life forms that exist in dimensions beyond perception. These thoughts are not urgent. They drift slowly, like clouds across an endless sky, allowing you to ponder without fear, to imagine without the pressure of certainty. You feel the soft thrill of possibility, the gentle comfort of curiosity unfurling. You begin to notice a subtle symmetry in the universe, a hint that hidden worlds may follow the same elegant patterns as those you know. Fractals in motion, spirals echoing across scales, repetition and variation intertwined. You sense that, even in the unknown, there is a quiet coherence, a rhythm that underlies all forms of existence. Your awareness expands to hold both what is seen and what is imagined, a meditative balance between knowledge and wonder. You drift further, imagining the boundaries of these windows into other worlds. Black holes may curve into passages where space is shorter, where distances shrink, and where matter and energy can traverse previously impossible lengths. You sense the tantalizing invitation of exploration. Perhaps, somewhere beyond, stars you have never seen shine in colors unknown. Perhaps, life in forms unimaginable waits, quiet and patient, shaped by rules you cannot yet comprehend. Your mind is at ease, floating in the gentle tension between mystery and insight. You reflect on the humility of science. The universe offers glimpses, not answers. Each theory of wormholes, white holes, or multiverses is an attempt to understand. Yet the cosmos reserves its ultimate secrets, and yet there is comfort in this. You realize that not knowing is not failure. It is the opportunity to wonder, to imagine, to drift freely in the possibilities that the universe allows. Curiosity becomes a gentle companion, a soft guide in the quiet night of your mind. You consider the poetic nature of these ideas. Each black hole is a threshold, each singularity a question. The cosmos, vast and patient, invites contemplation rather than demands answers. You float along these corridors of thought, sensing the gentle pulse of reality, the rhythm of time and space, and the soft dance of light as it curves and stretches. Each reflection brings calm, each speculation brings a quiet thrill, each question is a lullaby for the mind. And as you linger among these imagined windows, a thought arises softly. What if the universe itself is aware of its own possibilities, reflecting across hidden paths, whispering through black holes and wormholes, suggesting that every ending is also a beginning? You feel the quiet comfort of this speculation, a gentle sense of unity with the cosmos. The black hole, once a point of fear or mystery, now becomes a window, a place to imagine, to wonder, to drift with the currents of possibility. You take a slow, deliberate breath, letting the ideas settle. You sense the edges of this meditation beginning to close, yet leaving an open question in your mind. Beyond the hidden doors and speculative corridors, there is a larger reflection, a gentle invitation to see not just the paths of matter and light, but the way the universe itself looks back at you. The mysteries of hidden worlds beckon, leading you softly toward a new awareness, one that carries you to the next stage of reflection, the universe observing, mirroring, and revealing its quiet secrets to those who pause to notice. The universe looking back. When you gaze at a black hole, it gazes back in silence. You see not destruction, but reflection, the universe, showing you its deepest paradoxes. You close your eyes, carrying the mystery inward, where sleep begins. You pause at the edge of understanding, feeling the subtle pull of the black hole's gravity fade into the calm stillness beyond. The singularity, the escaping particles, the imagined windows into other worlds, they all rest in quiet resonance, like soft echoes bouncing through the corridors of your mind. And in that stillness, you realize something profound. The universe is watching, in its own patient way, reflecting back what you bring to it. Time and space, once rigid and linear, now feel like a mirror. Your awareness drifts across the curvature of the cosmos, tracing gentle arcs where light bends and matter folds. The black hole does not simply consume, it observes. Its presence is a question, a patient gaze that stretches across dimensions and invites contemplation. You feel a soft shiver of recognition. In observing the universe, you are observed in return, not as a judgment, but as an acknowledgement, a quiet communion between consciousness and the cosmos. You imagine that photons escaping the black hole carry pieces of information, fragments of matter, whispers of distant events. And yet, beyond the physics, there is a poetic symmetry. Every gaze you cast into space returns, transformed, reflecting the curiosity and calm attention you bring. The universe responds not with words, but with patterns, with resonance, with the subtle choreography of forces and light. You sense that being present is itself an act of participation, a gentle dance with reality. Your mind drifts to the scale of infinity, black holes, stars, galaxies, and the spaces between them stretch beyond ordinary comprehension. And yet, within that vastness, your awareness has a place. You are not insignificant. You are a witness, a conscious observer, threading your presence through the tapestry of space-time. Each thought, each gentle breath, is a ripple that interacts, however subtly, with the unfolding cosmos. You feel a calm humility, a soft awe, and a quiet satisfaction in simply being aware. You notice the reflections of your own curiosity mirrored in the universe. The black hole, once a terrifying chasm, now feels like a companion, a patient teacher. Its darkness is not emptiness. It is potential, a space where imagination and understanding stretch and curve. You sense that the questions it inspires about time, space, light, and matter are not demands for answers, but invitations to linger, to explore, to notice the quiet pulse of existence. Each unanswered question is itself a gift, a soft lullaby for your mind. Light and shadow play along the edges of your awareness. The escaping photons, the bending of space, the gentle curvature of time all become a meditation in motion. You feel as if the universe is breathing slowly, rhythmically, and you drift along with it. There is no urgency here, no need to reach conclusions. You sense that comprehension is not a destination but a journey, a gradual unfolding of awareness in tandem with the cosmos itself. Every stretch of light, every shift of gravity, every subtle echo is part of this calm narrative. You think of the potential hidden within the singularity and the black hole's horizon. You imagine that each black hole, each gravitational well, is a doorway, a threshold to understanding beyond ordinary perception. They are paradoxes you can never fully grasp, yet paradoxes that guide your mind gently toward insight. You realize that mystery is not something to fear, but something to welcome, like a quiet night sky waiting for your gaze to settle upon it. The universe's reflection is subtle, patient, meditative. Your awareness drifts to the soft rhythm of impermanence. Even black holes, immense and seemingly eternal, whisper away in tiny particles. Matter and energy shift and transform, reminding you that nothing in the cosmos is fixed. Change is gentle, inevitable, and beautiful. You sense that your life, too, flows in similar quiet cycles of emergence, transformation, and release. The universe, in its patient observation, is teaching you about the interconnectedness of all things, the elegance of continuity, and the gentle impermanence that threads through existence. You notice the harmony of extremes, darkness and light, vastness and minuteness, infinity and the fleeting moment all coexist. You feel a soft resonance with this balance, a gentle awareness that mirrors your own consciousness. The universe's gaze is not cold. It is attentive, serene, reflective. In this reflection, you feel seen, not as a problem to solve or a question to answer, but as a participant in the slow, meditative unfolding of reality. You are part of the rhythm, part of the quiet conversation between matter, energy, time, and awareness. Your thoughts drift to the concept of perspective. To a distant observer, your presence near the black hole might seem frozen in time, suspended in a moment stretched by gravity. Yet to you, awareness flows richly, deeply, fully. You sense the duality of experience. The universe contains many perspectives, each valid, each unique, each gently woven into the whole. You feel comforted by this multiplicity, knowing that understanding does not require dominance or finality, only patient observation and presence. You let yourself linger here, in the quiet contemplation of cosmic reflection. You feel a gentle unity with everything that exists, from the smallest photon to the largest galaxy. The black hole is no longer an endpoint, but a mirror, showing you not destruction, but the elegance of being, the beauty of presence, and the patient rhythm of forces beyond comprehension. You drift in calm awareness, absorbing the gentle lessons of the universe, letting your mind float in the meditative pulse of space and time. And finally, you close your eyes, carrying the reflection inward. You feel the soft pull of sleep, the gentle unfolding of rest, as the universe's quiet gaze remains with you, a companion in the spaces between consciousness and dream. You sense that, though the black hole remains mysterious and profound, you are part of its story and observer, a dreamer, a witness to the slow, eternal dance of light, time, and reflection. The cosmos has looked back, and in its silent gaze, you find calm wonder and the gentle descent into slumber.